If your SFTP chroot setup fails with bad ownership or modes, you are probably one chmod away from the right answer and one chmod away from a bad design. The common request sounds simple. Give a vendor an account where they can upload files, but they must not get a shell, browse the server, open tunnels, or write outside their drop area. The mistake is making the chroot directory writable by that vendor. OpenSSH refuses that correctly. Today we build the file drop pattern the way SSHD expects it. An SFTP-Only chroot is an SSH account that is allowed to run the SFTP subsystem and nothing else. The user authenticates through SSHD, but instead of starting their login shell, SSHD forces the in-process SFTP server. Then SSHD changes the user's apparent file system root to a directory you choose. This exists for boring, useful administration, customer uploads, backup drops, scanner exports, payroll feeds, and partner file exchange. It is not a container, and it is not a complete sandbox for arbitrary programs. It is a narrow SSH configuration for file transfer accounts, where the server owner controls the directory layout and permissions. There are 4 moving parts. First, the global subsystem line tells OpenSSH what program handles SFTP. Using internal-sftp means SSHD uses its built-in SFTP server, so you do not need to place libraries, shells, or SFTP server binaries inside the jail. Second, a match block applies settings only to selected users, usually a group. Third, chroot directory changes the root directory for that session after authentication. Fourth, force command ignores whatever command the client requested and starts internal SFTP anyway. Add forwarding and TTY restrictions, and the account becomes a file transfer identity, not a general SSH login. This is the core SSHD config block. The subsystem line should be global, outside the match block. Many distributions already have a subsystem SFTP line pointing at an external SFTP server path. Replace it. Do not create 2 competing subsystem entries. Match group SFTP only says the following directives apply to members of that group. Chroot directory /srv/droc/%u expands %u to the username. Force command internal SFTP prevents shells and remote commands. Disable forwarding yes, shuts off TCP forwarding, agent forwarding, X11 forwarding, and stream local forwarding on OpenSSH versions that support it. Permit TTY no, stops sudo terminal allocation. Put this match block near the end of SSHD config. Let's create a vendor account named Alice. Make the SFTP-only group. Create Alice with no home directory creation, home set to /upload, shell set to /usr/sbin/nologin, and primary group SFTP-only. Then create /srv/drop/alice/upload. Here is the rule. /srv/drop and /srv/drop/alice must be owned by root and not writable by group or other. A upload directory inside the jail is owned by Alice, so she has a place to write. After login, Alice sees / as her jail and /upload as the writable drop area. The first pitfall is ownership. Chroot directory itself and every parent component used to reach it must be root-owned directories and not writable by any other user or group. If Alice owns /srv/drop/alice, SSHD will reject the login. Give her /upload underneath it instead. Second, match blocks continue until another match or end a file, so do not place normal global settings after this block by accident. Third, if you use key authentication and the user's home is inside the jail, consider authorized keys file under /etc/ssh/authorized keys/%u. SSHD reads keys before the chroot. Finally, run SSHD-T before reloading. This pattern connects several SSH administration skills. Identity control decides who matches the rule, group membership, local users, and sometimes keys. File system control decides what the account can see and where it can write. Service control decides what SSH features are allowed after authentication. Logging and testing close the loop. You should be able to prove that SFTP succeeds, SSH shell fails, and forwarding requests fail. In the Practitioner tier, this is the shift from knowing a directive to combining directives into a repeatable service pattern that survives audits and handoffs. On your own VM, create a throwaway account named testdrop and repeat the pattern. Use the group SFTP-Only, make /srv/drop/testdrop owned by root, and make /srv/drop/testdrop/upload owned by testdrop. Add the match block, run sshd-t, and reload sshd. Now test both paths. SFTP to localhost as testdrop should connect and allow writing inside /upload. A normal SSH login should not give you a shell. Also try an SSH command like ssh testdrop at localhost uptime. Force command should still put the session into SFTP behavior, not run uptime. 3 beats to keep. 1. Use subsystem SFTP internal SFTP and force command internal SFTP for these accounts, because you want file transfer, not a login environment. 2. The chroot directory must be root owned and not user writable. Create a writable upload directory inside it. 3. Restrict the rest of SSH with a match group block, disable forwarding yes, and permit TTY no. That is the safe file drop shape. Tomorrow, we continue the SSH Mastery series with another practical SSH administration topic. New SSH episode daily on this channel, plus the daily ranked CVE brief for defenders.